to listen to the Lap Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 247 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. 17 regular season races in the books, and we're still hanging around 11 race winners. I think we'll pop off a few more there, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before the show gets rolling, don't forget to go roast the competition. Be the first to the finish line with 5 Lakes Angry Brew. Angry Brew is a massively caffeinated, amazing tasting, high octane coffee that will get you through the day. Not just half the day, a quarter of the day. It'll get you through the whole day. When you need a power up, reach for Angry Brew coffee with a punch. And go to angrybrew.com, use code LAPPED, LAPPED, and get 10% off. And there's more. I still have a bunch of Angry Brew mugs and Spencer Boyd autograph hats and a bunch of good stuff. And I always throw some Lap Traffic stuff in there. I've been trying to do one a week, one every other week. This week's kind of been crazy. I did one last week, so I'll get another one out for you guys next week. Weekend was packed. Lindsay was out of town, so I took full advantage of booking myself. When the wife's out of town, you got to go buy something for yourself, and I pulled the trigger. You guys know I love to golf. My set of clubs was getting up there in age a little bit, and I decided it was time to treat myself to a new set of golf clubs. So I went and bought a new set of clubs Thursday. Friday, a buddy and I, we went and saw Ron White at a comedy club, not like a big venue, anything like that, which was awesome. Had a blast. I mean, it's Ron White. How do you not have a good time? And then Saturday, tested said new clubs in a golf outing, which was awesome. And Sunday, chilled, relaxed, stopped by Grandpa's, Dad came over, all that good stuff. So hope you guys, hope all the fathers out there had a great Father's Day, all that good stuff. Last week was busy too. Hope you enjoyed both shows last week. That's right. We had Nashville on Tuesday, as well as Dustin Albino on Thursday. Great time there. And also on Tuesday, you guys heard that I am back as the official podcast for Landon and Parker's ERacr Firecracker 400, which I'm excited about because there's a lot going on tonight's show about that. So listen, if you're not into the sim racing and all that kind of stuff, I get it. But hey, really cool perspectives and all that. So I got a stacked show tonight with some of the guys that are going to be in the lineup, racing and qualifying tonight Wednesday and Thursday this week. So we'll get to all that. What else is going on? I am pumped. I got to tell you this. I am so excited because Pocono is going to be on the show tonight. Yes, the entity itself, Pocono. No, Kevin Heaney, communications director from Pocono, is going to be on in just a minute to talk about Pocono and how excited they are, which is awesome. Chris Hacker, you've probably seen him on social media. He's been making a splash, and I thought, what the hell? Let's get Chris on. Let's see what's going on with him. And then we've got a bunch of stacked guys coming on from the ERacr series. We got Brandon Cantell, who was last year's Firecracker winner. We got Casey Kerwin, who drives for the eNASCAR Coke Series. Brian Blackford, who actually works at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's going to be on. And Xfinity driver Ryan Vargas. Aaron Studwell is going to be on. We got Fantasy, all that good stuff. And, I got two things. Number one, last Thursday, I tested out Twitter Spaces. Some of you guys hopped on that, and it was pretty awesome. I really liked how it worked. So I'm thinking here a good chance to debut that is going to be on episode 250 in a couple weeks and get you guys in the mix to help celebrate a milestone there, episode 250. So be on the lookout for that. Might even pop on there once or twice before then as well. And yeah, so let's get rolling. Let's get Pocono Raceway on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his first appearance on the Lap Traffic Podcast. He's the Senior Director of Communications with Pocono Raceway, which will be hosting the big Pocono Double, along with the Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and ARCA Series this weekend. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Kevin Heaney. Kevin, what's up, brother?
What is going on, man? It is race week. There's a lot happening here. You mentioned it, 5 races, 3 days. Fans are back. Not sure if you saw it or not, but on Monday evening. We put out something on social media. Camping is sold out. It's going to be packed here. Tickets are still available, but it's going to be crazy, crazy weekend in our infield and campgrounds.
That's so cool. I am so excited for you guys. One of the things, last year, this was the ticket. This was the build, the Pocono double. And then, unfortunately, we all know what happened. So I am so glad that you guys are finally going to get that big payoff, so to speak, this weekend, man.
Yeah, and the weather's shaping up to be nice. You look at the weather forecast, and it's like, there might be a scattered chance of some inclement weather, but at the same time, we're on top of a mountain here, so the weather's always a little wonky in terms of the way it comes and goes. But most of the time, it may say that it's going to rain, but I would say 90% of the time it's not happening. So it's kind of one of those. I wasn't going to. It's kind of one of those weird things. Oh, you can bring up weather. Well, hey, man, the Cup tickets come with the worry-free weather guarantee.
There you go.
It's a perfect opportunity to let people know your tickets are guaranteed, no charge whatsoever back to you. And if the rain's postponed for weather reasons, the Cup races are postponed for weather reasons, as well as camping or pit paddock passes, and you can't make the rescheduled date, basically you didn't get your ticket scanned on that rescheduled date, we're going to cut you a check for the face value of your tickets. No questions asked. That's happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we try to take care of our fans, and with all due respect, everyone says, it always rains at Pocono. Okay, well, it rains everywhere in the country, first off. And secondly, stop saying the R word when you're on track. I stopped saying the R word come Wednesday of race week, because at that point, it doesn't matter. We're in it. We're looking forward to fans being here. And quite honestly, the rain never seems to bother our camping crowds. Just saying. Just saying.
I love it. All right, Kevin. Well, let's start out with this. First off, I got to give you guys a huge thank you to Pocono for supporting podcasts. I know Pocono has its own podcast, which I was honored to be a part of in the off season, along with some other great podcasts. It's awesome that the Tracks NASCAR supports podcasts. There hasn't been a track yet that I've reached out to that hasn't come on the show or hasn't extended great credential accommodations to me if I've been able to make the track. So I'm bummed I'm not able to make it this weekend, but thank you so much for supporting. And I definitely plan on getting out there next year with you guys.
Yeah, man, come on up. I mean, I think this double header format's going to be here to stay. It's going to be, a wild weekend. And such a good bang for your buck. I mean, and I'm not just saying that as a person who's a promoter, right? Our job is to promote. But if I'm a race fan and you can see a Cup race on Saturday, a Cup race on Sunday, and no disrespect to all the other tracks out there, because we get along quite well, but we like to take jabs at each other. We have a true double header weekend. There are literally two races taking place back to back on Saturday, with the truck race, Cup race, Sunday, Xfinity Cup race. So, and if you want to get into the way the tracks say, we have a triple header weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, we have a quadruple weekend. Quintuple with 5. There
we go. Yeah, Quinn. Yeah.
Whatever that is. We have 5 races in 3 days. It's insanity here. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes. Well, I talked a big game on your guys' podcast in the off season about my pulled pork's, meat that I've got to come out and smoke. So
I know my mouth's still watering over it. You're not bringing it. I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie, Brandon.
I love it. All right, man. Like you said, it's crunch time. What sort of things are done race week? Whether it's setting up the stuff around the track for the fans and the concourse there. What's getting done? Race week.
It's kind of crazy. This place, we've had other events and other things like that, but in terms of the core NASCAR places, camping, our grandstand, our fanfare, our media center, Victory Lane, all Pit Road. This place out, kind of dormant for 14 months. While we held the race last year, there were no fans. So we didn't do the power washing. We didn't do the paint fixtures, fixing the paint in different areas. We didn't have to flush every single toilet to make sure they were operational, So it's all those small little things that pop up. And we're not going to dust off a little bit. It's been a while since we had our fans back. We had the lifeblood here. We had that excitement and energy back in our stands. So we're not going to rust off, but it's all about final race weekend prep. Our line painters are out there, like I said, for the infield, man. We're so full that they're out there painting lines for places we never thought of before. So it's pretty crazy that what's happening. I'm setting up the media center today on top of doing some media availabilities and some chats with some drivers and our president. So it's kind of business as usual. It's still promoting. It's still doing what we do throughout the year. It's just all accelerated. I wish that you could hear the dinging that's going on. I put my earphones on to give you a call here, and the phone keeps dinging and dinging. And after a while, that dinging is almost like music for you because you hear it so often. But that's race weekend. It's lots of communications. It's lots of people reaching out to you. It's fans with their questions. And it's just trying to get this place to look as great as it can be for when our fans arrive and they can get a great experience, from Thursday with campers arriving all the way through, Monday afternoon when they depart.
That's awesome. What kind of things, events do you have planned for the fans that are coming day of for Saturday or Sunday and that are sticking around and camping throughout the weekend?
Sure. I'll work backwards actually with your question. Our campground is kind of pretty known for what we do. So we have an inclusive playground for kids of all abilities to learn, grow, play together. That's open all weekend. We have a dog park. It's called the Pocono Raceway Bark Park. Again, promoter cap on, the first NASCAR track to ever have a dog park in their infield. So we're still toting that little title for ourselves. So bring your dogs with if you want to camp.
That's awesome.
We have an activities and welcome center. The Poconos is a tourist destination. I remember growing up as a kid, I would come up to the Poconos from New York, and I would go to a resort, and at 11 o'clock there was bingo, and there were arts and crafts at noon, and there was yoga for mom in the morning, and there were paint and sips for dad and mom at the night. There was teenage dance parties. We have all that in our infield, which is crazy to think about. Oh, by the way, we have 3 nights of live entertainment at our infield block party. Oh, by the way, this year, people with pit paddock passes that camp can go on the track and ride their bike around the 2.5 on Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. So Friday camping, like I said, there's nothing available right now, but there's so much to do for campers, and I think that's why we see it sold out. For all the fans coming up on Friday, we have our annual Kids Day. We've been running that for 14, 15 years now, so we have a bunch of health and wellness programs, plus our kids zone, plus our free carnival, plus Tricky the Fox is bouncing around, our wonderful little red-haired mascot. He's bouncing around all weekend. Saturday and Sunday, fanfare is full boat. We have lots of things going on, lots of displays, a lot of interactive things. That carnival continues all weekend long. If you stop by our fan stage between like 10 and 11:30, we are doing some quote-unquote live driver appearances. So basically, the fan is in front of a Zoom camera. There's a big board that the rest of the fans can watch. The driver's joining via Zoom, so he's not going to be technically in person, but they're going to feel that energy with the crowd behind the fan. So it's going to be a cool little thing that we're doing this year for drivers. We have a pretty good lineup set up. And you want to know what the lineup is, you have to stop at the fan stage. We're actually not announcing the lineup. It's kind of a super secret thing that we want to kind of test out and see if people are going to show up. So it's going to be really cool. And then, of course, if you have a pit paddock pass, front stretch access, time to start finish line, our trophy's going to be down there on pit road. You can take a picture in front of it, get your selfie. We put up digital boards now for our scoring pylon. They're fully digital. So, if your favorite driver is Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson or anyone else that's in the field, you can take a selfie with a 300-foot virtual Joey Logano behind you. So we're doing all sorts of goofy stuff here. We anticipate as much as a fan experience as you can get. Obviously, it's a little different with some of the protocols slowly being lifted and kind of transitioning back to normalcy. But at the same time, we expect a drove of fans to show up. Bring your coolers. Parking is free. It's just going to be, it's just so much fun to see everybody walking behind the grandstands. And we actually have Wi-Fi this year, so you can stay connected. We partner with Verizon, and we have Wi-Fi all behind the grandstands and the 200, 300 levels and all of our quotes and clubs and skyboxes. So it should be a really, really fun weekend for sure.
Excellent. You can watch the race in person and keep up with lap traffic on social media.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
I love it. Speaking of social media, I got to tell you guys real quick, I had a thing called, I love puns. So the Lap Traffic podcast had its wave around hotline, right? And, I use that for people to call in, leave voicemails, and I'd play them back. And I retired the Wave Around hotline last week after participating in Pocono's Twitter space, 2 weeks ago, and just seeing how awesome that worked, because I'm going to slowly start to work that into the show as kind of like a live feature that while you're not listening live, but you can hear me while I'm recording, and I'll cut out to a couple people here and there and make the show that much more interactive. So huge thanks to you guys for doing that, because I had no idea that was even a thing. So
yeah, I give full credit to one of the guys who are on our podcast with Kevin Teal. Kevin runs our social media accounts, and he's pretty savvy when it comes to stuff. He said to me, "Hayes, I want to try this thing on Twitter." And I was like, "Okay, sounds great." And I am a recent dad of a 9-month-old, so I was not able to join said Twitter chat. I was too busy giving my son a bath. So. But he texted me immediately. He's like, "I think we found something." I was like, "Cool, that's awesome." So I'm going to try to join a couple of them. He's going to do more of them this week. He'll do some Instagram lives and stuff like that. Kevin does a great job with our social media. I started our social media back in 2011. I mean, it was started, but it really didn't have anyone to kind of be that voice. And Kevin's taken it over, done a tremendous job. We try to be interactive. We try to use social media for the purpose of it. Stay up to date with us. Have some fun. Let's keep it casual. Let's keep it respectful. We're a fun-loving group, and we treat everybody with the same amount of respect that we possibly can across the board. And we have some fun stuff. We try to be trendy. One of our other marketing communications folks, she was like, "We got to get on TikTok," and I'm like, "I don't think we need to be on TikTok." The first video she put out got like 4,000 views or something. I'm like, we need to be on TikTok. So
that's awesome.
We try to use everything that's in our toolbox to really interact and have a blast. Keep everybody informed. On race weekend, keep everybody safe if we have weather messaging or something's going on or the bathrooms are shut down. We try to just pump out as much information. I can tell you we get complaints on race weekend. You guys tweet too much. All right. Well, then don't follow us on June 24th to the 28th, because I can promise we're going to put a lot of stuff out.
Well, Kevin, talk real quick about the primary race sponsors. We got the Pocono 325, Explore the Pocono Mountains 325, CRC Brachial 150, Pocono Green 225. Talk about the sponsors and how those came about with Pocono.
Yeah, General Tire is actually our ARCA sponsor. They've been our ARCA sponsor for 5 years, and we're looking forward to having them back on again this year. This is the 5th year of their relationship, and we've built up a good enough relationship where I think you'll see General Tire at Pocono Raceway for a long time. So Friday's race is the General Tire hashtag anywhere as possible 200. If you can't make it out to the track, which I don't know why you wouldn't if you're near here, it's $10 to come to the race. Kids do not need a ticket on Friday. They can just come with the parents. And every adult ticket holder can bring up to 4 kids with them. So it's a great opportunity to come up to the racetrack. They're actually practicing qualifying on Friday as well. So they're the only series that's doing that. On Saturday, we have the CRC Brachial 150. We just announced the Pocono Organic CBD 325. That's the Cup race. So CBD is an important part of our other sister business, Pocono Organics, or Regenerative Organic Farm that's USDA certified organic. And so is their CBD products. We were actually NASCAR had to go through some vetting process. We were the only CBD product in NASCAR's history to go through their entire vetting process, their scientific testing, and be approved to be able to be a sponsor in NASCAR in totality. They have not had a CBD sponsor in NASCAR before. So that's super excited about that. Check out PoconoOrganics.com. Tons of great stuff you can do. And if you're stopping by the racetrack, swing over there. They got a market. They have unbelievable breakfast sandwiches and lunch, and they have coffee and everything you possibly need. They're right on the corner of the track. You can't miss them, I promise. On Sunday, obviously, we have great partnership with JP Mascaro and Son. Green initiatives are an important part of our life with our solar farm and our waste diversion rate of 75% of all of our waste is diverted out of landfills and recycled. So the Pocono Green 225, recycled by JP Mascaro and Sons. That's the Xfinity Series race. We're super excited about having that group back here. And then the Explore the Pocono Mountains 350. That's in partnership with the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. Again, we're a tourist destination. So we love partnering with the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau in their 4 counties. All the unbelievable outdoor activities that you can do, the indoor water parks like Kalahari, skirmish paintball, The list goes on and on and on. If you're coming up for race weekend, we want you at the racetrack, but at the same time, extend that stay a little bit longer. Hotel rates normally during the week are a little bit better than weekends because it's normally packed here. And check out all the things that you could do. If you want to go hiking, you want to play golf, there's just so much to do in our region. I love living here because I really get to truly enjoy all 4 seasons up here in the Pocono Mountains. And we're excited that they're part of our race weekend in such a bigger and better respect than they have been in years past. So lots going on in the Pocono Mountains, especially here in Long Pond this weekend.
That's awesome. All right, man. Tell everybody one more time where they can get tickets and where they can follow along during race weekend on social media.
Absolutely. PoconoRaceway.com. Get your tickets now. Do not show up and walk up to the gate. You'll be sitting in a long line. Get your tickets online. Do a printed home or mobile delivery. You'll have them right on your cell phone. It's going to be so much easier than waiting in line to get your tickets. Plus, you're able to select your tickets instead of walking up to the gate. We might not have as great of availability. And then for social media, it's at Pocono Raceway across the board. Facebook.com/Pocono Raceway. Again, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have TikTok, we got Facebook. I think that's all the platforms we currently have. If you're looking for our podcast, we're on Spotify, iTunes, Google. Of course, that's of course after, of course, Brandon, they listen to your podcast.
Of course.
And this year for our podcast, we're doing the 50th celebration of the Tricky Triangle. Our first race here was on the 2.5 triangle was 1971 with our USAC IndyCar race, won by Roger Penske, his first ever open wheel race that he won. So we're celebrating that. We have some great guests lined up for the rest of the summer as well. So check us out. And again, PoconoRaceway.com. If you're going to give a call to our ticket office, 1-800-RACEWAY, please be a little patient with us. As you can imagine, our call volume's pretty steady right now. So your best bet's to reach out to us. Via the chat functions on PoconoRaceway.com or on social. We'll get back to you as quick as we can with the answers, and we look forward to seeing everybody.
It's awesome. It's good to be busy this week, man. Good to be busy.
Absolutely. Yes. Brandon, thanks so much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I got to get going.
Yes,
and,
sir.
We'll chat real soon, my friend.
Sounds good. Lab Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Kevin Heaney for calling in. Kevin, best of luck this race weekend to you guys. Can't wait to get out there.
No, come on out, man. It's going to be a blast.
We'll do it. All right, brother. We'll see you. Lab Traffic Nation, how awesome was Kevin from Pocono? He's amped up and ready to go. Okay, now, here's where we're at. Normally, this is where I do the race recaps, discussion, all that good stuff. It pains me to do this, but I am going to kind of skip over the truck series just because tonight's show is going to go a little long. I will just say huge shout out to Ryan Preece to go win in your debut. That's pretty spectacular and badass. Congrats to him. I think that's awesome. Grant Enfinger with a nice top 3 performance. Matt Crafton in 6th. That's awesome. And hey, everybody's John Hunter Nemechek pick in fantasy struggled a little bit there. Did not pick up his usual 50 points and only picked up 27. So, see, it doesn't always pay to take John Hunter or Austin Cindric there, but we'll have some fun with that in the fantasy segment a little later on in the show. Right now, though, this is going to be awesome. So before, let's start with this from the Xfinity perspective. Kyle Busch, win number 100, back-to-back Xfinity wins. Will he stop? That's the talk. You know what? And hey, if he's limited, it's not like he's going out there running 18 races like Dustin Albino and I talked about on Thursday's show. He is limited to just 5. He go out there and win those 5. Hey, more power to you. If that's self-sponsorship for the race teams with Joe Gibbs and all that, I've really opened up to this idea over the years as, the limits are there and all that kind of stuff. And as Dustin and I talked about on Thursday, nobody, as long as NASCAR continues to keep these limits, Kyle Busch will go down in history as the most winning driver in NASCAR history with the 3 series. And that's a testament to know that you're the only person that will ever do that. Just because, with the limitations, you might have, if someone's going out there and winning, 10 truck races, 10 Xfinity races a year, they're going to get bumped up to the cup level real quick. And then the level of competition is just so intense. So I think it's a safe comment to say that Kyle Busch will be the winningest driver in NASCAR history, unless NASCAR, like I said, gets rid of the limitations that they've placed, which I don't see them doing. But anyway, so that's the Kyle Busch comment there. Now let's get somebody online who was in the field at Nashville on Saturday. Let's get Ryan Vargas on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his first appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast. He's going to race his way into the Firecracker 400, and he raced his way to an 18th place finish this past weekend, driving the number 6 Maintenance Chevy. Welcome to the Lap Traffic podcast, Ryan Vargas. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. So, listen, solid day for you guys out there this past weekend. Talk about your race, talk about going to a new track, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tough day overall. We just kind of fought the car all day long. The team did a lot of big adjustments all day long. We just continuously got better and better and better. Fought back from a lap or two down and just kept our head down and kept fighting, and it led to us getting a top 20. So I mean, that's a good day right there, bringing the car home in one piece, and live to race another day.
Absolutely, man. So I had Landon on last week, and he thought it was going to run like Darlington. So did this race like a Darlington track, or how did this track race for you?
This place reminds me a lot of when I ran Memphis in the K&N cars. It's a bigger track with very slow rolling corners. That's how this place felt like. So I'd compare it to Memphis.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's something I know a lot of the NASCAR fans probably aren't too familiar with from a Cup side of things, or even Xfinity, but that's awesome. I think it's great that we're getting to these new tracks, getting to new markets and all that kind of stuff. Did you get to hang out at all while you were down there?
I wish. I spent my Friday night in my hotel room watching the truck race and just kind of relaxing, getting ready for the day ahead, because I knew the day at Memphis was going to be a long one.
Absolutely. So listen, this is your first full season in Xfinity. No truck starts. You came right up from the K&N and working with JD. Talk about that relationship there.
No, it's been an incredible opportunity racing at JD Motorsports. The operation that Johnny Davis has over there, and just all the people over there, it's a real good group of people. I really have a lot of fun being there. I mean, that's the big thing, is if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it? And I can tell you that I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying myself over there, and I'm racing at a level I never thought I'd be able to race at, and that's another big thing. And that means the world, honestly. Absolutely, man. When you can do the dream and that's your 9 to 5, so to speak, man, life is good. Oh, yeah. So listen, we've got the big Firecracker 400 event. We've got qualifying tomorrow, 2-night event, Wednesday, Thursday. Have you raced in Landon and Parker's events before? Did you do the Firecracker last year or the Carnomaly this past February? No, I haven't done any of them, honestly. This is my first real attempt at anything like that. So it should be a little interesting. I'm excited to see how this goes. It's going to be a very tough challenge. iRacing, I just don't consider myself that great at iRacing. So heading into something like this, to be able to make it into the final 88, it's a pretty neat opportunity. And I know regardless, I'm just going to have a lot of fun. Absolutely. How'd your prelims go last week? Went really good. Qualified really terribly, but we were able to race really good. I felt really confident, driving those race cars. I liked the setup that they put in for that. It was a little bit on the tight side, but it was maneuverable. It wasn't anything crazy. So I really enjoyed it. The racing was great. It was a very stacked main, which was a lot of fun. And you saw a lot of, people running the top side to get speed or to protect the bottom and stay low. So it's really going to be up to whatever you decide on that front. Absolutely, man. So, all right, what kind of prep are you putting in for qualifying? Do you have someone doing your setup for you? Did you call in some resources for that? I was going to say, I'm having to call in a lot of resources. I don't know the first thing about putting together a setup. So it's going to be a tough one for sure. But if I make it, that's going to be awesome. And if not, I'm just glad to have made it this far and to have been a part of Landon's deal. It's cool to be a part of these big races like this.
Absolutely. My first, foray, if you will, into doing anything like this was the Carnomaly 500 event in February, and the amount of dedication that these guys have, the professional drivers doing the eNASCAR Coke Series and all that. It's just, it's so intense, and I love that intensity. And you got guys going out there, and I've said it 100 times, but it's like, you don't know who's going to be in your race, which is cool. And then you kind of can go control your own destiny from the qualifying perspective to get in there, which is just so cool. All right. If you win the big pole event, there's this, I'm sure you've heard, there's this challenge to where you can start at the rear for an extra $20,000. If you win the pole, will you be taking that challenge?
Absolutely.
Right. Well, how could you not?
Yeah. It's worth it. I don't have anything to lose, I don't think I'll get the pole, but if that's something that does happen, I'd be dumb not to at least try.
Absolutely. Talk about the cars, man. So, it's, I believe the 87 cars on the pre-repaved track at Daytona. How was it racing that thing?
Very bumpy. It's all over the place. A lot of wheel. It's just you're wrestling the car every lap, and that's a lot of fun.
Oh man, I say it every time I talk to somebody that's racing in these things. I need to get like Sim Racer Seats or someone like that to sponsor the show and send me one of these things so I can strap in and try something like that. Man, that's so cool. All right. Let's flip back to the racing side of things. We're headed to Pocono this weekend. You picked up your best finish last year at Pocono. Are you excited to get back to the Tricky Triangle?
Yeah, I'm very excited. We ran inside the top 10 all day last year on legitimate speed, and I think that's a big deal for a team like ours. So to go there and carry the momentum that we got right now, it's a lot of fun. I like places like Pocono. I'm probably one of the few drivers that enjoys racing in the PJ1. So if they put some of that down, I'll be really, really happy. So it's good. It's just going to be a very unique race. I know it's going to be a short one, so it's going to be really, you just got to try and get what you can and be there at the end.
So what type of track prep do you do? Do you do some iRacing laps logging at the tracks you're going to? How do you get ready for race weekend?
A lot of iRacing laps. I'm actually going to do B-Fix once this interview's over.
Excellent. And talk a little bit about, you got Landon as a teammate there, so who's just got a ton of experience racing everything under the sun. How is it working with Landon, getting to learn the car, the tracks, and all that kind of stuff?
It's a very key element there. Landon has been really the class of the team right now, and same with Jeffrey. He has a lot of experience, but I would be dumb to sit here and tell you that and not say that I firmly believe Landon is a better driver than I am, and that's just he's been in this for so long, and he's a very talented race car driver. And to be able to lean on that, to have him as a teammate and to kind of pick his brain and learn as much as I can. It's a big deal. I'm still really young in my career, hopefully, knock on wood. And if I can lean on, a guy like him for beyond the racetrack, just how he goes about business and stuff and all that, it's a lot. So I'm very excited to see how the rest of this year goes. And like I said, it is a pleasure being Landon's teammate, and I'm glad I get to learn off of him.
That's so cool. He is definitely one cool individual, that's for sure. All right, man. Well, listen, give a shout out to any of the sponsors on the ERacr side, the Xfinity side, and where everybody can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, you mentioned one of them, Maintenance. They were on the car this past weekend at Nashville. We got Swan on the virtual car as well as the Road America car next week, so that'll be a lot of fun. You guys can check me out on Instagram at RTRV23. Twitter and TikTok at RyanVargas_23. And you can check out my website where all the merch is at RyanVargas.com.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, thanks so much for taking a few minutes tonight. I appreciate it. Good luck in qualifying for the Firecracker 400. Good luck at Pocono this weekend, and look forward to talking with you soon, man.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, man. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. There you go, Ryan Vargas. Very cool. Enjoy talking to him there. All right, let's keep things going. Kind of a unique format tonight, as if you haven't been able to tell. Got lots to do still. Real quick, and I apologize. I'm sure you're all just jumping at the bit for my takes on everything, but I'm trying to really keep these show lengths down, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job as of late. There has not been an hour 45-minute show in a long time. So, but anyways, real quick on the Cup Series from Nashville. I mean, just a great race. And the thing as a whole, I thought was great. It was a great weekend. Hey, you know what? There were some issues, as to be expected. You can't put on something of this size and not have a couple issues when it's the first time in a long time with that many people, all that stuff. It was great to see those fans. I hope most of them had great experiences. I know getting out of there can be a pain, but hey, at least there were those issues to be had, which is good. That means people came out. Hopefully people had a great time. Hopefully people come back. I think Nashville's a great area. It definitely has jumped up on the list in terms of the tracks that I want to get to. This year's just kind of been weird. 2019, I got to 6 different tracks, which was awesome. And, last year had planned on getting to a couple. We all know what happened there. And this year, just with, things just starting to get back into the groove, the new job, so I don't have a ton of PTO banked yet, so this year's just going to kind of be weird as well. But definitely, next year, am I going to get to 6? I don't know. But, definitely plan on starting to get back out there as much as possible and all that. So that's a good thing that we're able to get to that level. As far as the race goes, man, first off, Kyle Larson, I said it last week, there's nothing he can't do. 3 points wins in a row, 4 with the All-Star. If he goes out and sweeps Pocono, he's just checked out to a whole new level. It's almost like Martin Truex a few years ago when I think he had about, 40 bonus points at this point in the season. He's out there on a tear. Ross Chastain, great to see Chip Ganassi with a solid finish out of Ross Chastain with a top 2. That was incredible. SHR with a pretty solid finish for the day, 2 top 5s. I think that might be the first that they've done that. That's cool. Corey LaJoie top 15, Ryan Newman top 15, Austin Dillon. So some guys took advantage of the new track and the brakes, right? Was it as bad as the Indy tire situation a while back? Probably not, but it posed a unique opportunity, and it really, we always talk about, let's put it in the hands of the driver more, give them all the horsepower that they want. Well, when you have issues like this, that's what that does. It puts the situation more into the driver's hand in terms of their experience being able to manage and maintain tire fall off and the brakes. I think that's why we like Atlanta so much. So from that regard, I enjoyed that aspect of the race. Now if we had that every weekend, sure, that'd be a problem and something to evaluate. But I thought that added a unique element of adding driver skill at a new track, all that good stuff. So I was on board. I thought it was a great weekend, all that good stuff. So that's my very short discussion, just because there's still a ton to get through tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to get our next guest on the line. He's been making some noise on social media. You probably follow him if you follow in the Lap Traffic podcast. Let's get Chris Hecker on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his first appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast. He got a start in quarter midgets, has made some ARCA starts, and has made a huge splash on social media as of late. Welcome to the Lap Traffic podcast, Chris Hecker. Chris, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Tuesday nights are always a great night because I get to have a lot of fun interacting with people. So I love Tuesday night, probably more than I love Friday night. So I'll take it.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. All right, man. So listen, you're from Noblesville, Indiana, which is right smack in the middle of Indiana. Are you a big IU fan?
I can't lie. I don't really follow any other sports besides NASCAR. So I can't say that I'm a huge IU fan. My brother, he's big into sports and stuff like that, but he follows college basketball a lot, but he's a Duke fan, actually. He's not even an IU fan. So So no IU fans over here, but we are proud to be from the Indiana.
Absolutely, nothing wrong with that, and that's I just got to make sure that you're not an Ohio State fan or a Michigan State fan. So that's all. That's all. Oh man! So listen, you got your start at a young age. Give everyone the 411 on your racing background, how you got into racing, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so when I was 7 years old, we were at the Indianapolis Fairgrounds during the summer, and there was a little quarter midget track there that they were running there, and we were watching it, and I kind of just looked up at my dad, and I was like, hey, I want to try this next, because I did basketball, t-ball, and soccer in my very early years, but I was like, hey, let me try this out next. And so thinking that it would be a phase, where he was greatly mistaken on that, he was like, okay, we'll try it. And so my 8th birthday, which was in November, we got a quarter midget. And once that happened, we all were kind of like, well, what do we do now? Because it's winter now pretty much, and there's nowhere to race. So we started searching around. We found an indoor quarter midget track in Columbus, Ohio. And so we started traveling out there over the winter, running races. And that was always a blast. I ended up getting a win out there. But after quarter midgets, at the age of 9, I moved up to the INX Bandolero series. And those were always fun to drive. They got the little Briggs and Stratton motors in the back, and no suspension in the front end. So whenever you're on a rough track, I used to call them trampoline tracks, because the front end would bounce up and down. But at the age of 12, I moved up to the U.S. Legend cars, and those were a blast to drive. I only drove them for a year, but they have the Yamaha motors in them, straight out of a motorcycle, and then the sequential shifting. So that was when I first started to learn how to drive with a clutch. And the power to weight ratio on those are pretty insane. So they definitely would teach you how to throttle control and stuff like that. So like I said, I ran those for a year, and then at the age of 13, late models, and we actually were like, we were looking around, and the series that runs around here, we kind of all requirement, and I was obviously way too young at the time. I mean, there's kids that are 13 nowadays running it, but they've changed the rules since then. So we ended up having to write a letter to the director of CRA, and stating like, here's what I've done in my past, here's why we think I should be able to run it, yada yada yada. And thankfully he accepted me to participate in the series. So we started running late models when I was 13, back in 2013, and I got in a nasty wreck out in Anderson Speedway. A car ended up on top of me, tore the whole body off, stuff like that, kind of bit the frame, and we kind of just we straightened the frame out a little bit, didn't even clip it, and then we threw just a plain old body on it. And all within a week. It was Friday morning, and that's when we were putting the decals on, getting ready for the race. And I went out there, and that's when I won my first late model event. And I'm not sure if it still holds, but at the time, I was the youngest driver to win an event in CRA. So that was pretty awesome for me to be able to experience. But I ran late models all the way up until I was 16, throughout the CRA series. And around the age of 16, we ended up having to get out of it. My parents were funding it all through those classes and stuff like that. And
Sure.
they finally ran out of the funds to be able to support me financially through it. So I got out of this seat, and I started, first thing I did was I started working on the cars. So instead of being out on the track, I was just in the pits this time. And I was able to learn a lot about the mechanical side of racing and stuff like that. So I was working here and there, and then finally I was graduating high school, and I was like, I still want to do something with racing. And so I ended up enrolling at University of Northwestern Ohio to get my high performance degree. just so I could do more stuff in the higher ranks of racing as a mechanic. And it wasn't really for me. I'm not really a school guy. They had a great courses and everything like that, but I'm more of like go to the shop and learn with my hands instead of learning from a teacher, I guess you could say. But so I ended up dropping out of that, and then I was kind of like, I need to do something. And throughout those years of me being out of the seat, I was working a lot and flipping cars, buying some cars and reselling them for a little bit of profit. And I ended up raising enough money for myself to be able to compete in the NASCAR ranks. And so I entered in 2 late model races. I entered in one at the end of 2019, and then another one over the winter of 2020 and 2019. And I kind of just use those late model races to kind of like knock the cobwebs off me, I guess you could say, just because it's been so long since I've been in the seat. And we were trying to get up into ARCA. And so we finally was able to do that. And I made my debut at Phoenix, where I'm not sure exactly where I started. I want to say it was like 21st, I believe. I could be completely wrong. It's been a while, but I believe I finished 15th in that race, which is pretty awesome for me. I was happy about that. And then we were scheduled to run Daytona at the beginning of this year. And I don't know if you're aware, but NASCAR is a test session to get your super speedway license.
Yep.
And so we headed down to North Carolina to get the seat fitted and everything for the test session. And I started feeling uneasy and stuff like that. And that's when COVID was kind of huge. And so we were like, all right, to play it safe, we're going to go get a COVID test before I actually go to the shop, because we don't want to like have this affect anybody else at that point. So we drove all the way to North Carolina. I got my test after still feeling sick for about a day. And the rapid test came back negative, but they were like, let's do like the more, long-term test that takes a couple days to get back. And we were like, okay. So we assumed everything was going to be fine, but the more long-term one ended up coming back positive. So that automatically opted me out of the test session, which automatically opted me out of being able to compete at Daytona. So that was a little upsetting for me. Daytona would have been a blast to be able to compete in. So we were looking around trying to figure out what the next best race would be, and that ended up being Charlotte. And that was just last month. And so we went to Charlotte. They had a test session about a month before the race there. And just with our limited funds that we're dealing with right now, I wasn't able to compete in that because we're just trying to save enough money to do as many races as we can. So we got there and we had about the practice length was about 45 minutes, but coming off and on the track, making adjustments, I probably had about like 35 minutes of practice, which was also qualifying at the same time. So I ended up qualifying 12th for the race, and we were able to come home with the top 10, which that's huge,
man. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I was, I can't lie. I went across the line and I went on the radio and I was like, was that P10? And the spotter came back and was like, yes, that was P10. And I got a little teary eyed.
Absolutely.
I was very happy about that situation. And I came in and my older brother was there, and he was never really big into racing. And he's been supporting me here lately. And, I went past him and he punched the air, and stuff like that. He was all hyped up. And then I hopped out of the car. My dad gave me a huge hug, which was amazing. And everybody was just happy that night. And at the end of the day, that's what racing is all about. Just being able to come home with a smile on your face. So other than that, that's where I'm at right now with my career, but it's definitely been an up down roller coaster here and there.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. So let's see. Let's go this route first. You had made an announcement that you thought you were going to run Nashville, and then that didn't happen. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what happened with all of that, and what maybe is what you got in the works?
Yeah, so the previous team I was running for, we were planning on running Nashville, but we had a couple disagreements on the future events we had held up. So we decided to part ways with them. I wish them the best and everything, but just as where I'm at in my career and what I'm dealing with on the limited funds, I just felt, this would be the best business, I guess you could say. As far as stuff in the works, there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. I can't really talk too much about it, but there is some stuff that is being planned out that should be released here soon, and I'm excited to be able to release that. But we just gotta make sure everything's set in stone.
Absolutely.
Before
Eyes
go
dotted,
about
T's
that.
crossed. Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm excited for you. I know you've been building quite the social media following, and I know your followers are excited for you. We'll get to social media in a minute. Let's talk about the injury that you have, and Bill is the first NASCAR driver with a brachial plexus injury, and that's if I pronounce that right. So talk a little bit about that and what challenges you face with that.
Yeah. Well, for first off, it's pronounced brachial plexus injury. I mean, you're completely fine. A lot of people pronounce it that way. But as far as the injury, so long story short, how they do the ultrasounds and stuff like that while during a pregnancy. Well, they're able to kind of like do a guesstimate on your weight, and they kind of guessed that I was going to be around 7 to 8 pounds when I was born, which is perfectly fine for a natural birth. But I ended up being 11 pounds actually. So, wow. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, poor mom.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, when you're that big as a baby, that they recommend C-sections and stuff like that. But obviously they weren't aware of my weight, so they went along with it naturally. And during the process, I ended up getting stuck, and my circulation cut off, and I ended up passing away for a couple minutes.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, they brought me back, so they did their job.
Right.
But they got to the point where they were like, all right, we need to do something before we lose the mother too. And so they pretty much just yanked me out at that point. And they yanked me out and they resuscitated me. They didn't really know if I was gonna be like brain dead or not, stuff like that. They weren't really able to tell. But in the process of pulling me out, they ripped 3 of the nerves that connect my major nervous system to my arm. So at birth, I can only move my fingers.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my parents went to some specialists and stuff like that here and there. And a lot of them were like, there's not really much we can do. I'm sorry, but it's kind of, it is what it is at this point. And finally, they found one. His name was Dr. Me, and he was like, we can do something. We're gonna make this better. And so I had 3 major surgeries in between birth and from the age of 7. And what they did is they took nerves out of my calves and my ankles, and then they transferred them to my wrist, my shoulder, and my neck. And so what that did is that allowed me to have more range of movement than originally. My range of movement is not perfect right now, but it's about 50%. And so, it definitely has improved a lot since I was born. But along with the lack of range of movement, my muscle mass is a lot weaker than normally, because I'm not able to really use my arm as much as my normal arm, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But ironically, Dr. Me used to work for Tony Stewart before he got famous, and Tony Stewart entered into the NASCAR series And he was like, he didn't have his doctorate degree at the time, but he was like, Dr. Me, like let's go, like come with me. We're doing big things now. And he was in college at the time, and he was like, I can't try to become a doctor. I don't see how this could go anywhere for you, pretty much. And little did he knew, Tony ended up becoming big and famous in racing, and I'm sure Dr. Me wishes he went with them, but I'm glad he didn't, because he definitely made my life a lot better growing up and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. How does that impact driving for you?
So it has some difficulties here and there. I can't really describe the difference between me and a driver with like two fully functioning arms, just because this is kind of from birth. Sure. So it's like quote unquote normal for me. Right. But at first, when I was running late models and stuff, I was pretty young at the time, so I wasn't really that strong. And so what we did is we would have to get the rack and pinion set out. And what they would do is they would make the steering a lot easier, because when I drive mostly with my right arm. During cautions, I'll kind of like have my left arm controlling the wheel down the straightaways and stuff like that to give my right arm a break. But under green flag, my right arm's doing all the work, and my left arm's just like holding on along for the ride at that point.
Gotcha.
And so in late models we had to loosen up the steering a little bit to make it easier for me, and we did that at Phoenix too. But at Charlotte we had the normal steering box that everybody else was running, which wasn't a problem for me at all. So I've been able to improve myself along with that. As far as other stuff that has kind of impacted me, it's nothing that I've faced yet, but it's something that I'm going to be facing in the future at some point, is driving on a road course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta do a lot of shifting and stuff under green flag, and so we've been like trying to figure out ways to approach it on stuff like that, because we don't want to run into the problem of me not being able to compete to my best ability, due to me having to struggle throughout the turns while shifting. So that's something that has been in place so far. But everything else, I haven't really had to really fight anything yet. I kind of, like I said, I was born like this, so it's all I've ever known. So I've kind of just like adapted to everything my own way. For example, like if I'm on the monkey bars at recess back when I was a kid, a lot of them, they'll just like move their arm to the next bar, but I would kind of like rotate my arm down and like swing it up. So I wasn't using really my muscles, but I was just kind of like swinging it around up to the next one. So it's just I just had to do a lot of adapting to my environment, I guess you could say, here and there.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, I'm glad that has worked out from that regard, that it hasn't held you back any. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what you've got coming out from a ride perspective. Let's close with this, man. You've been out there hustling on social media, building a following, sending out the hero cards, interacting with followers, and all that. How's that experience been for you?
Wild story. So before, I've tweeted at companies. I've been like, hey, at blah blah blah, how many retweets for a sponsorship? And we were in Charlotte, and me and my girlfriend Micah were hanging out, and I was like, man, I wish Red Bull would sponsor me, because I usually drink Red Bulls as an energy drink, but I never got a response from them, so I've stopped drinking Red Bulls. But we were laying there, and I was like, I wish Red Bull would sponsor me. And she was like, why don't you just tweet like, hey Red Bull, how many retweets for a sponsorship? And I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like I've done that before. It's not going to work. She was like, just do it. And so it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I only had I think 230 followers on Twitter at the time. I was like, all right, whatever. I shot out the tweet, and it had 10 retweets when I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning, and it just blew up. And within a couple days, I had like 1,500 followers, and after 24 hours, that tweet itself had 100,000 impressions. And
That's
so
awesome.
like, yeah, so shout out to her for making me do that. But I was just kind of shocked on how much it blew up. And ever since then, I've been interacting with the fans and trying to do some giveaways here and there and stuff like that. And now I'm up above 3K followers on Twitter, which I couldn't be more blessed for. But I mean, it's a blast because the fans make the sport fun. And being able to interact with these people, it puts a smile on my face because they somewhat kind of look up to me a little bit, I guess you could say, and to be able to interact with them and make their day also makes me happy. So, like I stream sometimes when I play like iRacing or Call of Duty, and some of them will hop in there and they'll talk to me, and it makes my day go by fast and time fly. And a lot of them are hilarious. They have a kick-ass sense of humor, which obviously I love. Like I tweeted today, I was like, I just dropped my insurance by like, a couple $100, and then one of them responded like in quotations, I just saved a bunch of money on insurance from not having insurance. And I like that put a smile. Yeah, I was like, that put a smile on my face. Like that definitely made my day. So I mean, I've been loving every minute of it. Some days my fingers will start going a little numb here and there. Not really, but
Yeah.
just having to be on the phone all the time and stuff like that. But it's definitely, I've been loving every minute of it. It's a blast to be able to interact with everybody and have a bunch of people who want to interact with you.
That's so cool, man. I feel the same way. I'm with you there. All right, man. Well, listen, where can everybody follow you on social media if they don't already?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Chris_Hacker. And then my Twitter is ChrisHacker_. And then my Twitch, the platform I stream on, is ChrisHacker_. And then my Facebook, I have a Facebook page that's just Chris Hacker Motorsports. And then if they want to visit my website, it's just chrishackerracing.com.
Awesome, man. Well, that's awesome. Everybody go check out Chris. Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Chris Hacker for calling in. Chris, great chatting with you. Hope to do it again soon, and hope to see you on a ride soon, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that was Chris Hacker. Great to get him on. Excited to hear what opportunities he's going to be able to announce in a little bit. All right, let's keep things rolling. Let's switch over back to the iRacing part of the show and the Blue Emu Firecracker 400. And let's get one of this year's competitors on the line. He was also last year's winner of the Firecracker 400, Brandon Cattell. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, he's a hardcore e-racer with the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. He's an eNASCAR analyst, and he was the winner of the 2020 Firecracker 400 event last year. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Brandon Cattell. Brandon, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man, listen, it's great to have you on. I know we're going to get along great because anybody that shares my name has just got to be an awesome individual. So,
without a doubt, Brandon's are the best.
Yes, and not that I was stalking, but I was looking at your Twitter profile to kind of get a little intro there for you, and I saw your birth date's December 27th, mine's December 22nd, so I mean that's even more right there. So
perfect. December people are cool too.
That's right, man. Well, listen, defending winner, is that carrying any extra pressure as we're into the new event for 2021?
Well, I mean, I look back to last year and I look forward to this year. I think we have to go and do it again, obviously. I heard earlier they just, at the time of this recording, they just came out with the lineups for qualifying for Wednesday, the 23rd. And I'm going out first. So we're getting a really good early draw. So it'll be cooler weather, which should equal a faster time, depending on weather and stuff. But I think we have a pretty good shot at the pole and to try to defend it.
Absolutely, man. That'd be pretty cool. Defending winner, going out first, and if you were to snatch the pole, man, that would be really cool. Did you participate in the Carnomaly 500 this past February?
I did. I made it in from the prelims, and we actually led a lot of the race. Unfortunately, I got taken out in a crash late on, but I really think we had the best car for that race too. A lot of my buddies will say that I guess plate racing or super speedway racing is kind of my forte. So we really try to work hard on our setups when these special events happen, because I really love this type of racing.
Well, that's
my favorite.
So, and I got into this a little bit when I covered the event in February. Are you testing your own setups? Do you take, because I would imagine you've got some sponsorship behind you. Do you invest in some professional advice in that? How are you getting your car dialed in?
So, what I do is I work with a couple of my buddies, Brian Blackford, Jake Nichols, Blake Neer. We've just been working on setups. They're all in the prelim also, transferred from the prelims also. So we've all kind of just come together and tried to do our best to make the car go fast. And no kind of outside sources. We use telemetry sometimes to make the car go faster, but sure. We just are working our butts off. I mean, Brian, I know he's got countless hours working on it, and I've heard other people have worked a lot on the car too. I heard Dale Jr.'s even got 6 hours into qualifying. So I've heard a lot of people are just trying to bust their tails off trying to get their car fast.
Absolutely. Well, Brian's going to be on a little later tonight, which is awesome. I'm excited to talk to him. It's awesome to see people, put their time, their energy, and their passion into doing what they love. I really appreciate that energy, because that's basically what I do with the podcast, which is so cool. Talk a little bit about, since you raced the Carnomaly 500 event in February, and you ran some times in the prelims last week. It's a completely different car, and they're using a completely different track in terms of what the track surface for Daytona is like. Is it that noticeable? Talk a little bit about the variance in terms of the cars and the track for this event.
Well, in the Carnomaly 500, man, I can't remember how fast we were going, but it seems like we were going so fast with the old Cup car unrestricted at a repaved Daytona. I think we were at least going at what it seemed like it was in the 220s going into the corner. So that was pretty sketchy. But this I would say we're going a little bit slower, about 214, 215 on the old track with the old car. But just the way the car drives over the bumps, the way the aerodynamics are, especially when you're out front and you have somebody on your bumper getting you loose, it is extremely hard to drive. I mean, you'll see in qualifying on Wednesday that some of these guys are they're gonna probably self-spin just because the wind's gonna be a problem. They're going to be going so fast. The bumps are just so hard to handle, and you really want to try to keep it pinned down to the bottom. And if you can't, you're going to be shooting up the hill over the bumps, and you're either going to go around or have a really bad mishap. Yeah.
Oh man, that's I'm excited to tune in for qualifying. I love single car qualifying, and that's awesome that's how they're doing that there. Let's see here. All right, so we talked right beforehand that you just got off work. So what's the job that pays the bills?
So I help manage my dad's roofing company in Southwest Florida. He's owned his roofing company since 2005. I'm 24 right now. So the last couple of years I've been helping him do that. And we just, we stay pretty busy down here because it's always raining. So it's raining right now as we speak, as we're doing this. So yeah, it's a pretty good company to have. If you live in Southwest Florida and you need a new roof, check out Robert Teal Roofing, by the way.
I love it. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's it's a pretty good business to have in Florida.
That's cool, man. All right, man. We'll wrap it with this. If you win the pole for the big event, are you going to take the challenge of starting at the rear for the chance at the extra 20K?
Well, that is unfortunately there's a thing to that. I am actually sponsored by Radius, which with that meaning I am unable to take the last to first challenge since Radius is sponsoring that.
All right.
So it would go on to the second place qualifier if they are not sponsored by Radius also. So hopefully we get the pole just to make a statement. But if I were able to, I would definitely take it.
Definitely take it.
I would definitely take it in a heartbeat because I know I can go from the back to the front all day and do some of that Pied Piper work that Dale Jr. used to do back in the day.
I love it.
But I do want to give a shout out to Clue with Radius and all them. They're great people. Love to have them on board for the race, and I'm really excited to just hopefully try to go for a second one of these. The trophy for this race is just incredible. It's one of the only races on iRacing you can get a trophy for, and it's a real trophy, and it's really cool.
That's awesome, man. I love it. All right, where can everybody follow you at on social media, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff?
So you can go to Instagram at Brandon Cattell, Twitter at Brandon Cattell, Twitch. I don't have a Twitch. I need to start getting into some of the Twitch broadcasting.
Me too.
But just make sure you're watching Twitch /ERacr_GG to be watching the race and the broadcast. Parker Kligerman, Landon Castle, they've put on a great show for us the last couple of years, and I'm so excited for this event. It's got some of the best drivers in sim racing, some of the best drivers in the real world. So it's going to be a great show, and you're not going to want to miss it.
I agree 100%. Hey, man, well, listen, good luck this week in qualifying, and good luck in the event. And who knows, maybe we'll be talking to you in a couple weeks with Landon and Parker, man.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
All right, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, bud.
All right, we'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that was Brandon Cattell. Best of luck to him this week. All right, let's do a quick social media here. Everybody make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. Go leave a review if you've made it this far into the show. Go tell your friends they can listen on iTunes, Podbean, or even tell Alexa to play the Lap Traffic Podcast. I'll get a giveaway going next week. Some new followers, JP Palmer 313 at JPalmer 313 for Metro Detroit, a Michigan fan, a Tigers fan, and a Harvick fan. I think we just became best friends. The Muffler Bearing at Erie_M, NASCAR fan parody account. Welcome to the show. And David McCleary at DM Cleary1, big sports fan from Tennessee. Guys, don't forget to go to angrybrew.com and use code LAPPED, LAPPED. Get 10% off. I mailed out a bunch of stickers and koozies this week. If you want a free koozie and some stickers, just fill out the contact page on the laptrafficpodcast.com, and I will send those out to you for free. All right, let's keep things rolling. Let's get back-to-back interviews with a couple other participants in the Blue Emu Firecracker 400. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, he's an e-racer with the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Casey Kerwin. Casey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, just chilling out, waiting for this Firecracker stuff to kick off.
Right. Yes, sir. You know, I love the fact that they are using the name, the Firecracker 400. There's just some old, and I get the whole sponsorship thing in NASCAR, but man, it would be cool if we could get back to some nostalgia with some of these race names like the Firecracker 400. So I love that Landon and Parker did that.
Yeah, same. It's especially last year, you know, when they had Bobby Allison and people like that giving the command and all that. It really threw it back really well for sure.
Absolutely. So how long you been iRacing, man?
I've been iRacing for about 10 years now. At the end of this year, it'll be about 10 years. So yeah, I just, you know, kind of just did it for fun for the first few years until kind of got a little bit more competitive, and then tried to make it into the Coke Series, and then now I'm in the Coke Series and been doing all that, and yeah, it's been a good time, and Been starting streaming lately the past couple years, which has brought a lot of different aspects to it as well, which has been a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah.
And
probably new followers, sponsor opportunities, all that good stuff, I bet, right?
Yeah, it's been cool, and especially with how the series has grown, there's been a lot more eyes on it, and also, big events like this that Landon and Parker put on. It's definitely cool with all the real life teams getting involved, and also esports orgs getting involved. It's cool to see how it's growing.
Absolutely. So is this your full-time gig, or is this still hobby / maybe get a check in the mail every once in a while kind of thing?
Yeah, for me, it's my full-time gig.
That's
it's
awesome.
between streaming and running in the series. So, I definitely have a pretty cool job, I'd say.
Absolutely. Hell yeah, man. That's so cool. One of these days, who knows? Maybe this will turn into a paying podcast.
Yeah.
So, all right. So did you race in the Carnomaly 500 in February?
I attempted, but I believe, I can't remember if it was technically called prelims or the duels or whatever it was, but whatever the first qualifying races were, I think I got caught up in a wreck, so I didn't make it, unfortunately.
Oh wow!
But I did
All right.
attempt. I did attempt to make it though.
All right, so it's redemption time for
It
Casey.
is.
Yes, excellent. I love that. Talk a little bit about for the listener that maybe knows that e-racing, iRacing are virtual racing. What is the Coca-Cola e-racing series?
We're basically the equivalent of the Cup Series on iRacing. And there's a whole stepping ladder to get in the series. You literally start out in Road to Pro, which is the trucks basically, and then if you get through that, you go to the Xfinity cars in the winter, and then if you get through that, then you get into the Coca-Cola series. But we race not every Tuesday, but typically every other Tuesday. About an 18 race schedule. Every other Tuesday, the Tuesday of the upcoming NASCAR race. So we race at the track 5 days before they go there in real life. So we kind of can kick things off in that way, especially a lot of these new tracks they've been going to lately. But it's just the top of the top in the NASCAR side of sim racing. And it's grown a lot over the past few years. We've had a couple races on TV. And the prize pool's gone up to now where if you win the championship, it's $100,000. So it's definitely taking off in some ways.
That's awesome. All right. So what makes, what's the difference between Landon and Parker's e-racer series from the Coca-Cola series? Obviously, Landon and Parker's are more one-off events, more specialized. But, in terms of, I know Landon and Parker's is a 3-week event. So how many days, what's qualifying and all that like from the weekly series for you guys?
So we just qualify literally right before the race on Tuesday nights. So really we pretty much have 2 weeks leading up of just testing an absolute crap ton. There's a lot of practice and testing to get your setup right and everything to be competitive. So, it kind of feels the same way, the same length. Just we don't really have anything qualifying or racing wise until we get to that night. And then the Landon and Parker's races. I mean, I think it was 23 of the 40 Coke Series drivers signed up to run the race.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So the and also there's a lot of other very good people on the sim that aren't in the series, and they have all been in the race. So I'd say even the competition side, it's very similar, and especially there's a pretty nice prize pool on the line. There's a lot of people put a lot of effort into it, so it's everyone's bringing their best of the best. So really it's the only difference is that it's a one-off deal, and there's kind of a different format to make it and all that kind of stuff. But once you get into the competition side of it, there's a lot of very good people in the competition, especially when you get into the race itself. When it gets boiled down to those 43, it's very, very competitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's look and talk about this for a minute here. As far as your prep that you're putting into the race coming up, we got the qualifying this week. Are you running your own different setups just to see what works? How do you get your setup dialed in?
Yeah. So I really truthfully, I haven't had a whole lot of prep for this year compared to last year because it got announced, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, but with everything going on, it's kind of unfortunate timing where I recently was just on vacation for a week. So I actually ran the prelim race at a friend's house about an hour from where I was on vacation.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So I ran the prelim race there. And then, but before that, I didn't even have much practice either. I didn't run any of the practice races they put on. And then again, I was on vacation for like 5 days before I went to my friend's house to run it. So, and then once we come back and it's time to prep for all of it, we're in the middle of, we've been on a month off from the Coke series, and now we're back and we're literally running a back-to-back. Like we race tomorrow night on Tuesday at Pocono, and we run the week after the Road America. So there's a ton of prep going into that. And then we got the whole Firecracker deal going on. But thankfully, with the people that I work with on Dead Zone Racing, Houston Hamer, who is one of our setup builders on the Coke side, he's helping a little bit on the Firecracker, but also Kevin McAdams, who does stuff with us, especially for the Firecracker. He's putting in a lot of effort, and thankfully that helps me focus on the Coke side a little bit more, which when it's needed, but also know that we'll have a good piece for the Firecracker stuff. So especially Wednesday is probably going to be a big prep day for me for qualifying mainly. I mean, everyone wants to lock into the top 20 in qualifying and be locked in. And in these cars, it's not a piece of cake to go run a qualifying lap like it is nowadays at Daytona. These things are a handful,
right?
And they're very line sensitive. You got to get off pit road good, get through the gears good, hit the right line even on your out lap to get up to speed perfectly. So, like I said, I haven't had a whole lot of prep, but once we get through the Coke race Tuesday, I'm sure I'll spend a good couple hours Wednesday getting ready for qualifying, and then hopefully nail a good quality lap.
Awesome. All right. Well, all right. So let's, we've seen people with literally the Logitech steering wheel and pedals set up at their desk. And then we've seen people with, these massive sim rigs and all that. What are you racing in? So
on the steering wheel and pedal side of equipment, I'm doing pretty nice. I got a Fanatec wheel, Fanatec pedals, Thrustmaster shifter. I actually use an MPI rim on a Fanatec universal hub that I use, and then but I'm still on a desk. I don't have a sim rig. It's all just attached to a desk. My monitors just sit on the desk. They aren't all like connected from some base or anything. Right.
And you can make it work. That's awesome.
Yeah. So steering wheel and pedals wise, I've got some nice stuff, but I'm still just on a basic desk and desk chair.
Fair enough. All right, man. Last one for you. If you win the big pole event, are you going to take the challenge at starting at the rear for the extra
Absolutely.
20? Yes.
Absolutely. There's no question.
I love it. All right, man. We'll give a quick shout out to any sponsors, and where can everybody follow you on social media?
Yeah. Thanks to Xset. They're my esports team that I race with in the Coke series and back me through all this stuff. So we'll have a pretty slick looking Xset machine on in the whole Firecracker deal as well. Thanks to Dead Zone, the setup guys, Houston Hamer, Dustin Lingert, setup guys. Ethan Kurtz is my spotter. And then my socials, you can follow me on Twitch, which is just Casey Kerwin, my name. Twitter, which is Casey Kerwin 23, and all that. So that's where I'll be, and looking forward to the whole deal.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, good luck this week in qualifying and next week in the big event. And who knows, maybe we'll talk to you in a week or so with Landon and Parker and celebrating a win.
Yeah, hopefully with 20 grand too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you, man. See ya.
Well, Lap Traffic Nation, that was Casey Curran. And just as I say about 20 minutes ago, that I've been doing good, not keeping the shows under an hour and 45. Tonight's show, going to be long, sorry, but this is a lot of fun, having fun, giving you guys, the usual Tuesday along with a little different perspective here. Let's get our last participant on the line, then we'll get back in and close things out like normal. We'll get Studwell on, some Lucky Dogs and fantasy to close this thing out. But first, let's get Brian Blackford from the NASCAR Hall of Fame on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation joining me on the line. He's a sim racer and he works for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. How cool is that? Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Brian Blackford. Brian, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here. Just getting ready for the Firecracker. It's a lot of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun too.
Absolutely, man. The just kind of see it. I did my first stuff with Landon and Parker. With the Carnomaly 500 and just seeing what those guys do. I joked with Landon last week when he was on the show, just like dude, how do you sleep? Because the amount of time and effort that you put into this, and then, oh, by the way, that's right, I got to go travel and actually get in a real race car. It's I can only imagine how hectic things are.
Yeah, I've been on Discord with him kind of late into the night, and he's just a very passionate person. He loves what he does. He takes this very seriously. Sim racing to him it's been something that's been in his life for a very long time, and it's really cool that he's just giving back to the community the way he is, and Parker as well. They're just doing an amazing job, and I can't say enough about them. Landon actually was on Discord with me the other night, just asking how the setup's going and everything. And he's genuinely interested in all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. Absolutely.
No, 100%. And that if you want to interact with some people, I mean, go join the ERacr series. It's a very, as I joked with Landon last week, it's a very reasonable fee to join this and to try to partake in these events. And you just never know. You could be paired up and race against Kyle Busch in your prelim race. You just don't know. And hell, that's worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I've gotten a chat a couple of times on Discord with Dale Jr. He just kind of pops in and just asking how the practice races are going, or he'll join up, and it's pretty cool. You get to race with some very well-known real life drivers, some very well-known simulated drivers, and it's you never know who's going to show up. We had a couple spotters show up, TJ Maters, Freddie Kraft, so you never quite know who's going to show up to these ERacr events, which makes it pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, man, listen, you work at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. What do you do there? How'd you get into that?
Yeah, I like to tell people I work for the Hall of Fame because I'm working from home right now. So our parent company, the CRVA, owns and operates the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So we're we oversee a couple of different venues, but my primary responsibility is the Hall of Fame and Bojangles Entertainment Complex, which is just down the road. So I do marketing for them. So I'm the guy that updates the websites, updates people through email marketing. So I'm in the marketing department in the CRVA. So I get to typically I get to see Winston Kelly, walk through the hallway, in the morning hours, and that hasn't been the case, for a while now because we've been working from home due to COVID. But excited to get back to the office, which we will be soon.
That's all. Is it opened up back up yet to the public or not yet?
Oh yeah, the Hall of Fame has been open for several months now. But I guess since I can do my job from home, they've kept me home. Sure. But I'm really excited to get back. It's gonna be refreshing to get back in the office.
I believe it. Well, man, so did you race in last year's event? Did you race in the Carnomaly 500 at all?
Yeah, so I did race in the Firecracker 400 last year. I nearly pulled that thing off. I was running in third place with like 8 laps to go. William Byron caught the wall in front of me and checked up really hard, and I had nowhere to go. We got together. He apologized later on. But man, that one was tough to swallow. Tough pill to swallow, I guess. But man, this year I think we'll have another good shot at it if we can qualify in. Qualifying's not my strong suit. I did the Carnomaly 500 as well, and I was actually leading that one with I think it was about 10 to go.
I was going to say, I remember that, and as you say that, I'm like, man, that Blackford, man, I'm pretty sure I heard them say that name quite a bit at the end of the race. So yeah, I recall you being up there.
Yeah, our style has never been to go out and lead every lap, so usually don't see me until the end of the race. And these are long races, and with the damage model the way it is on these new cars, these 87 cars. I don't expect there to be too many cars left at the end of this thing, so it should be interesting.
That's awesome. So what type of setup you got going on? You know, do you practice and put your own stuff into it, or you got a team? What's because everyone's got a little bit of different thing going on for it.
Yeah, it's I was planning on just working by myself for this one, and I feel like I got most of the way there on my qualifying setup, but then myself and Jake Nichols, we're good friends. We started chatting over Messenger, just trading ideas, and one thing led to another. I sent him my setup. He sent me his setup, and Brendan Cattell has worked, who won the race last year, has worked closely with Jake. So we got a little bit of an alliance going on, but there's so many different people that I've been chatting to about, different setup ideas. And I think, eventually everybody's going to kind of figure this car out, because it's not as complicated as the Cup car. So we should all end up in a pretty similar box, and we'll see who's the best driver at the end of it.
That's awesome. What are you in the eNASCAR series? What other series do you run besides the ERacr?
Yeah, I was in the World Championship, the Coke Series from 2010 to 2017, I believe. Yeah, and I had a best points finish at 4th. Then I had a son. Didn't have as much free time. Yeah, so it was a little challenging to keep that going at the pace I was going at. But they say once you have a kid, you slow down like a tenth. I feel like I've gained that tenth back.
Excellent.
Like in the last year or so.
Excellent. Made a couple adjustments. You're back out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Matt. Well, we'll wrap it with this one. If you win the big event, are you going to take the challenge of starting at the rear for the extra 20K?
Oh, you can count on it. I'll take that in a heartbeat. And I think we got a shot at it. I'm going to put in some more testing tonight. We'll see what happens, but I think I need to gain about a half a tenth before qualifying starts on Wednesday. So we'll see if we find it or not. And either way, I'm just thrilled to even have made it past the prelims and be in the running still.
That's awesome. All right, Matt, well, give us a shout out to any sponsors and where everybody can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, so I got a new sponsor for this event, Front Office Sports, and they cover the business of the sports world, including esports and NASCAR. So if you ever are interested in the financial aspect of sports, or just how it's managed, or anything like that, you can find a lot of great news on frontofficesports.com. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm most active on Twitter of all the other ones. You can follow me there at Brian Black 33. So that's my handle. But if you search Brian Blackford, it'll pop up. And love to get to know new people. And this is a really cool podcast. So thanks for having me on, and keep up the great work. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. Good luck this week in qualifying. And who knows, maybe we'll be talking to you in a couple of weeks with Landon and Parker to celebrate a win.
I certainly hope so. I look forward to it.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
All right, Lap Traffic Nation joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at RaceWeather, along with Brian Newdorf at NASCAR_WXMAN, keeping us up to date on all the weather happenings across NASCAR and all that good stuff. And I've got fingers and toes crossed because, as you heard Kevin Heaney mention it at the start of the show, everybody thinks when you hear Pocono that it's going to rain. So joining us once again, Mr. Aaron Studwell. Sir, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Oh, just another day in paradise, my man. How you been? What's new and exciting? All that good stuff.
Oh, Nashville. I just got back late last night from Nashville. I was actually working at the Xfinity race with the business development, sponsorship development I'm doing for Landon Castle, and we had client meetings, Voyager, which really is taking off, and there's a plug for him. That was not intended, but he's gotten a lot of press from him and MSNBC, and he did just a nice launch for them. Sunday, I did probably the smartest thing was stay away from the track. Everybody I know had a great time. like getting in and getting out. They said it wasn't quite as bad as Kentucky their first year, but it was tough getting in and out. Then just tried to work on some business yesterday, and finally getting around to finishing unpacking here. I just said I can't step around boxes anymore and step on enough cords. It's not like stepping on a Lego.
That's all Prime Day packages, right?
Oh, it was literally to the ceiling. I have not given into the temptation of Prime Day yet. Although I have had friends say, "You really need one of these." Like, what are you getting, kickbacks?
Right. Oh, I mean, I'm the biggest Prime Day proponent. And it's funny. I was talking to my sister last night, and it's only happened to me once. I pre-ordered it. I'm still waiting. It says it should be first pre-orders will be going out July through August, and it was like $90. But I am a big. I like checklists. I like to be able to check things off and all this kind of stuff. And like the register tape holder off like a micro machine at a restaurant, like that. Spits the tape out real quick. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like that. And what it does is it syncs up to Alexa, and you can tell Alexa, print me off a to-do list with, X, Y, Z on it. And it prints it off in checklist format with boxes to cross off. And I am so excited for that thing to get here. So, I mean,
I wish this was a video podcast, because I really wish you could capture the look of confusion I have on my face right now. I'm a big checklist guy too. I live and die by them.
Yep.
But I was really thinking of something you're going to hook to the Golden Tee machine.
Oh, well, I mean, if they came out with something cool for that, I mean, I'd be doing that in a heartbeat. Here, I just, so we'll have to divert for a minute, but I just sent you a picture of what it looks like, so you can come back when that gets through there. So Nashville was good. Weather was good. All that good stuff.
It was hot. I can't. It was hot on Saturday. Oh, it was worse on Sunday.
Yeah.
For everybody out there, and no shade. I shouldn't say no shade. Minimal shade. They actually, a friend of mine said they had rocking chairs underneath the stands where it was shady, and the breeze kind of came through. But that was it. Ran out of water.
Yeah.
Ran out of man.
Yeah. That's
logistics, folks.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. We are headed to Pocono, the big double. Fans back in the stands, 5 races, 3 days. How are we looking?
Oh, it's Pocono.
Yes.
It's going to rain.
Yeah.
This was the easiest one I had. Even before I was like, Pocono. June, Pocono, rain. There's a cold front, and of all things, these are actually real cold fronts, because I know it's actually pretty chilly up in parts of Michigan today.
Yes, it is.
And it's not going to. This next front's going to kind of stall out west of the region over the Great Lakes, and it's going to be bringing up a lot of Gulf moisture. Temperatures are going to be warm. I mean, we're looking in the upper, reasonably warm. It's unseasonably warm for there, but it's going to be nice. I mean, you're looking around 80.
Okay.
Which isn't 95.
Right.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Saturday, cloudy skies, chance of showers and thunderstorms. Although I'm saying just a chance, because they're going to be more scattered. It's not going to be widespread, which kind of makes it almost even worse from a Pocono standpoint, from watching and monitoring, because of the mountains and there's no close radar, and it's just a pain. And so you're just kind of hoping to get most things in and kind of running back and forth. Sunday, decreasing clouds, AM showers kind of into the midday area, but by later in the afternoon, it looks like it's going to clear out some. So it's another case if they need to be patient. These are shorter races, thank God. 500 miles of Pocono, I just gouged my eyes out for me, because I'm going to have fallen asleep.
Yeah. I think I honestly think it's the perfect length for Pocono.
I agree.
I think it'll be good, and the fact that it's back to back, I'm excited. I loved the, granted not under the circumstances, but I enjoyed watching some of the doubles that we had last year. It made it fun. Shorter races, new strategy. Different approaches to how some of the crew chiefs managed it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a double this year. So, and this, I mean. This is the only planned one, so I'm ready to take it in.
And I think it's a nice way to say, okay, traditionally, historically, y'all have had 2 races.
Yes.
But 2 weekends there, I think there are other locations, and I think it's a good way to do 2 races.
Yep.
Traditionally, 1 weekend, everybody comes back. It's not really that big of a travel issue either.
Right. Yeah, no, that's for sure. Michigan ran into the same issue. That's why we did lose a race. And I think the fact, Michigan and Pocono were 2 unique tracks or events, race weekends, because they were almost always 8 weeks apart. Sometimes Pocono was 7 weeks. That's a lot of ask on the fans to make that type of a commitment that close back to back. And I think that just made it hard, So it's awesome that they're able to put this together, not lose the race, have something exciting around it, not just 1 race weekend, but hey, we're giving you 2 cup races. I love it. I love everything about it.
No, I think it's good for the fans. It's good for the sport, and hopefully it's good for the broadcast.
Absolutely. All right, sir. Well, anything else?
I am good. You have a busy evening, young man.
I do.
Get that show done.
I will. All right.
Yeah, I know you will.
Live Traffic Nation, make sure you follow Aaron on Twitter at RaceWeather along with Brian Newdorf. Sir, great to catch up. Catch you in a couple weeks.
You will. We'll talk before that.
Of course.
I know it.
All right. Later. Well, Lap Traffic Nation, great to catch up with Aaron as always, but you guys know what that sound means. Yes, it's time for this week's Lucky Dog Lap Down picks. You guys know the drill. You can tweet your picks after any of the races on race weekend and send them over, and I'll get them into the show. As I mentioned, the Wave Around Hotline is officially retired from a weekly perspective, but that just means there's more opportunity for new things, which, like I said at the start of the show, I'm really excited about Twitter Spaces, and I think that's going to be a fresh way to be able to get you guys in the mix more on the show. And hey, maybe it flops. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But always got to try new stuff. So without further ado, my lucky dog of the race weekend for weeks now is Kyle Larson, because how could it not be? My lap down this week is definitely Ryan Blaney. Just an unfortunate mishap there, and he's been the product of bad luck as of late. Okay. Let's get to your tweeted responses. Scott at 1985 Wagner's lucky dog. Ryan Priest, perfect record in the truck series. Yes, he's batting 1,000. Lapped down. Lap Traffic Podcast. Me, I'm Scott's lap down for putting an evil idea in Scott's head for picking John Hunter Nemechek. Yep, sorry. And I think I think Scott's doing that for the rest of the season now too. Scott's Xfinity picks. Lucky dog Josh Berry. Solid partial season for Junior Motorsports. Lap down is a tie between Lap Traffic picking Austin Cindric and Lap Traffic Fantasy, and Kyle Busch lied about stopping at 100 wins. Go figure, a man would be good on his word. And then Scott's Cup picks, lucky dog at Ross Chastain, second place with strategy. Lap down Blaney, bad mechanical day. Jeff at JBev1789, lucky dog. How about Stewart House Racing showing some speed today? That's been a long time coming for them. Lap down all those in Lap Traffic Fantasy that went with the Cindric strategy. Great run. Justin Allgaier, thanks for the points. I love that, man. That's badass. Brian at Stormin B81, lucky dog. Was there any? Lap down. Busch lying to everyone because he's not going to quit because he needs to stroke his ego and win in the lower series. Ooh, that's fighting words there, Brian. That's for sure. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fans, lucky dog Kyle Larson. We're witnessing greatness. Lap down everyone not named Kyle Larson. True. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragons, lucky dog Kyle Larson. Like I said in Vegas, he's just getting started. Only now he has more to show for it. Lap down the 24 car for letting the Watermelon Man get by him to end the Hendrick 1-2 history making streak. Good call there. Jacob at Jacob Racing 18, lucky dog Chastain. Lap down Kyle Busch because he qualified well but had a terrible day. Kristen at K Hoglin 79, lucky dog Ross Chastain for a second place finish. Lap down the brake issues for so many teams, 100%. Colin at Colin _ cars. Oh man, no wave around hotline this week. Oh well, sorry bro. Lucky dog has to go to Kyle Larson. Dude won 4 in a row, is untouchable. A lap down to the brake rotors in the Cup Series. They were coming apart like crazy. Mick at GoDucks42_ Mick. Lucky Dog has to be Young Money in the entire 5-team. A lap down that there is a 550 package and we can't have racing like this more often. Yes, sir. David at DFlint14's Lucky Dog. Nashville and Dover Motorsports. Other than traffic issues, perfect day with a great race. Good choice on the resin rather than PJ1. At Marcus SMI, Texas Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Take note. Lap down, never good to have that many brake issues. Yes, and hey, traffic issues, you know what, man? I get it because I wasn't sitting in the traffic issues, but hey, it's good. It's a good problem to have, traffic issues. That means people showed up, and that's something that can be fixed for sure. Matthew at CH9SE fan. Lucky Dog goes to the Melon Man, and great call to end up P2. Just saying it straight one. Lucky Dog, Kyle Larson Racing, and Cliff Daniels. Claim fuel, saving conservation, and great strategy. A lap down, numerous brake concerns from drivers throughout the race. Nashville did it right today. Drivers had to drive, crew chiefs had to manage, fans had a hell of a show. I like that one, sir. Lisa at LL Chanana's Lucky Dog, hands down my guy Larson. We're only beginning to see his greatness. As a fellow lapper said, lap down is anyone not named Larson. And Carson at Carson Hagelin. Lucky Dog goes to Ryan Priest for making the most of his opportunity and winning his first truck start. Lap down goes to the 00 crew member in charge of the right front tire before the race. Dangerous mistake to make. Yeah, that was pretty scary. And last but not least, Chris at USMC_NASCAR Fire. Lucky Dog Larson, pure dominance. Lap down, brakes, parking cluster at the track. Everyone who wasn't allowed to bring in coolers yet again. Yes, that's definitely causing a stir, isn't it? All right, that is going to do it for this week's Lucky Dog Lap Down Picks. Can't wait to hear what y'all have for the Pocono Double. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, let's close this thing out with a little Lap Traffic fantasy. Just a reminder to get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Check the website if you need to see who you've picked already. Keep the Twitter interaction up on Twitter using hashtag LTFantasy. We got 9 more cup races with everything in between for segment 2 before we set our playoff grid. But right now, joining me on the line, he's new to the Fantasy League this year. You can follow him on Twitter at MLuds20. Mark, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. So we had one guy that had 145 points this weekend, but he wasn't able to make it. And then a lot of second place points with 136, which is where you fell into play there, and glad you were able to make it work here. But before we get to all that, what'd you think of the racing at Nashville this weekend?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It's always great to go to a new track, and especially a short track or an intermediate track, as you will. And I thought it was just great.
I enjoyed it. I know the brake issues caused a lot of problems, but I kind of feel like it was cool. Not that we had brake issues, but that we had a unique issue that then revolved around strategy, as well as driver skill in terms of who could manage what brakes they had left late in the run. Were you cool with that, or would you rather not have seen that issue?
No, that's definitely a good point. I always like seeing races come down to the end of the wire, whether it's going to be someone running out of gas or whatever, whose tires are going to hold on. So I definitely like to see that happen in the race because it's something you don't see that often. So to me, it makes it kind of more memorable.
Absolutely. Something like that just made me think of Indy and the tire issues a few years back. And, I personally think, granted SHR definitely, you could tell they had a little bit more speed, but I really believe that part of the reason why, Kevin Harvick finished where he did this weekend was because Kevin Harvick is so masterful with managing his car and managing brakes and managing tire wear. I think that's why he's so dominant at Atlanta. I think that's why he's good at Darlington. When he's good at Bristol, he's good at Bristol and all those places to where tires and brake management come into play. And I think that fell into his wheelhouse this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that with his experience. Definitely helped him.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, I've had quite an abysmal couple weeks. I've been riding the John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Cindric train for a while, which kind of failed me a little bit. And Kyle Busch didn't do too well from a points perspective. So I only picked up 84 points, and I've been falling fast from 12th to 14th to 32nd to 43rd in segment 2. You had a nice pick this week with Hunter, Allgaier, and Larson for 136. However, you are in 60th. So what's the strategy to kind of move up here and hopefully make the playoffs for you?
Well, that's a good question, because I've been following the standings and I kind of had a rough couple weeks until this last one. So hopefully I can ride this momentum. I'm probably just going to keep sticking with my gut and keep going with the bigger names and just kind of ride momentum and not be afraid to pick Larson more. Because in the first segment, I kind of held back a couple times because I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous. I don't want to pick him again. But it's like, you'd be foolish not to with how good he's been doing. And
absolutely.
It's like,
since it's the, kind of the Larson rule this year in Lap Traffic Fantasy that won't be there next year because he'll obviously be in the playoffs. But and now it's like, all right, man, I wasn't able to capitalize on it. Now it's like, all right, at some point he isn't going to win a race, and that's, so it's like, when do you not pick him and all that good stuff? So now it's going to be, strategy will be interesting as we're midway here through segment 2 for sure. Let's hit the top 10 in segment 2. Still in first with 645 is Steven from DFS NASCAR. And second with 603 is Pete Curvin. Two-way tie for third with 601 between Henry Fletcher, Jeff Rose. Two-way tie for fourth with 593 between Jeff Brevin, Matthew Miles. In sixth with 591 is Kristen Hoagland. Two-way tie for sixth with 583 between Glenn Atkins and Joseph Scapino. Seventh, 582, Brett Morris. Eighth with 577, Stephanie Borges. Two-way tie for ninth, 574, Danny Litwin, John Etzwitzel. And wrapping out the top 10 with 572 is Stephen Florence. So close battle up there for sure. Still anybody's game for segment 2 to get that awesome customized lap traffic trophy. Bonus points are starting to really become a factor here. Henry Fletcher with 9, John Entwistle with 8, Carson Hagelin, Eric Sauter with 6, Jumpy Bob, Brad Carnes, Eddie Greer, Fred Leclerc, Glenn Atkins, Joseph Scampino, Stephanie Holler, and Steven all with 5, and then it just goes on and on from there. And then the cumulative standings, the big one. In first, Henry Fletcher, 1796, John Entwistle, 1774, Fred Leclerc, who's locked into the playoffs, in third. We got Pete Curvin, Jess Rose, Jeff Bevan, Glenn Atkins, Michael from the Blind Spot Pod, Brad Carnes, Steven from DFS, Stephen Florence, yours truly, Joe Hewson, Josh Neal, Carson Hagelin, Chad Robb, and David Mullins wrap out the top 16 as we stand. All right, Mark, what do you say? You ready to make some picks?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it. We are headed to the Poconos, where, with the exception of Kevin Harvick last year, Toyota has won 6 of the last 7 races. Chevy's last win came back at the hands of Kurt Busch back in 2016. Kyle Busch has a pair of wins in those 6 wins. So does Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex has 1. Joe Gibbs, be a solid pick this week if you're trying to change course of picking Larson. For those, like I said, frustrated with that, we won't have that issue next year. Do you take Joe Gibbs Racing? Can Kevin Harvick rally back from his top 5 this weekend and get to victory lane? We'll find out. But first, it's time for our picks. All right, man, we'll start with you for the Truck Series. Who do you got?
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball here, and I'm going to ride with Todd Gilliland.
Todd Gilliland. I like that. That's solid. I am going to stay course with the trucks, and I am going to go with John Hunter Nemechek for the trucks. But I am definitely switching it up as we move along here. All right, man, over to the Xfinity Series. Who you got?
Well, you said Ty Gibbs. I didn't know what he was racing. If he's racing, I'm picking him.
Oh, no. I said I'm switching things up as we move along.
Oh, okay. Well,
but if he's
I was going to pick
can.
Austin Cindric, but if Ty Gibbs is racing, I'm going to pick him.
Solid. If you need to change, just let me know. I'm going to go with the 9 of Noah Gragson. I know he's been streaky, but I think he's due. So I'm going to go with Noah Gragson this weekend in Xfinity. All right, man. Cup race number 1 on Saturday. Who do you got?
Gotta ride the momentum. Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson. I am with you for Cup race number 1 with Kyle Larson. Cup race number 2 on Sunday. Who do you got?
Well, I've seen him win 2 out of the 3 times I've been to Pocono, so I got to pick Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. All right, cool. All right. I, too, am going to go with Joe Gibbs Racing for Sunday, but I'm going to go with the 11 of Denny Hamlin to finally get his first victory of 2021. All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for calling in tonight, and maybe we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Good talking to you.
You too, man. Everybody go follow Mark on Twitter at MLuds20. Mark, great to talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that is going to do it for a very long episode 247 of Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, Lap Traffic Podcast, and of course, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at Lap Traffic PC. Huge thanks to Pocono Raceway, Chris Hacker, Brandon Cattell, Casey Kerwin, Brian Blackford, Ryan Vargas, Aaron Studwell, and Mark Ludington for all being a part of the show tonight. We'll put something together for next week, I'm sure. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya.